2025 NCAA March Madness Men's Tournament is back, and this time it is bringing all the feels. The biggest event in college sports tips off March 18th, and you don't want to miss a second of the heart-pumping action. Catch all the clutch shots, big-time plays, upsets, Cinderellas, Blue Bloods, and more. Tune in to the NCAA Men's Division I Basketball Championship March 18th through April 7th on TBS, CBS, TNT, True TV, and Stream on Max.
Wow, this house is cute. But can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new BuyAbility tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your BuyAbility, only on Zillow.
It's time for basketball, and Uber Eats is dropping deals on game day favorites to keep you locked in on the action. Like when you're craving a buzzer beater, but also buffalo wings. Or when an upset makes you want to ugly cry into a pizza. And right now, Uber Eats has game day deals from Burger King, Buffalo Wild Wings, KFC, and hundreds more local favorites. So you can keep your eyes on the ball and your hands on a burger. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, the fastest under 10-minute Eagles podcast there is. Covering news, notes, and opinions on your Philadelphia Eagles right here on the Eagles Pinpoll Podcast Network. I'm your host, Phil Stipe. You can find me every morning hosting Trending in the AM on the STT Sports Network. I would greatly, greatly appreciate you guys checking it out live. It's the only show in Philadelphia where your opinions drive the show, drive the chat, and your opinions actually matter. Today, Friday, March 21st, special guest Shane Haff, right here from the Pinpoll Podcast Network, will be joining me for 30 of the 90 minutes of the show, talking all things Eagles off-season so far. So you're not going to want to miss it. If you have questions for Shane Haff, get them in, and that's how you do it. Today's show, I was sitting here thinking about what to talk about with you folks today, and you know what? I won't lie. I didn't get this idea on my own. I got this idea from Anthony DeBona, who, if you guys don't know who Anthony DeBona is a must-follow on social media, DeBona NFL on Twitter, writer for Philadelphia Sports Network and Metro Philly, covering the Eagles. He's worked for PFN and many other sites in the past. And I got the idea from him because, the first wave of NFL free agency is over. And now we're getting into the part of the offseason where the lull's happening, where the Eagles and NFL teams are getting set for the draft. Yeah, there's free agents out there that still need to sign. There's some other big fish, quarterback-wise, to sign elsewhere in the NFL. But for the most part, the first wave of free agency is over. Now teams are focusing on the draft. And he put out he put 2 tweets out that we're going to cover here. But he put out a very interesting one that really, really caught my attention. And that was regarding the Eagles' top 30 visits. You're allowed 30 visits during the draft process. And since 2016, there's only been 2 players drafted in the first round by the Philadelphia Eagles that were not top 30 visits. And since 2016, we've drafted in the first round Carson Wentz, Derek Barnett in 17, nobody in 2018, Andre Dillard in 2019, Jalen Reagor 2020, Devontae Smith in 21, Jordan Davis 22, Carter and Smith in 23, and Quinton Mitchell this past year. And only 2 of those were not top 30 visits. Andre Dillard in 2019 and Devontae Smith, but nobody was allowed to have visits in 2021 because of the COVID situation that was still ongoing in this country. So 7 out of the 9, because one year they didn't even draft in the first round, 2018, 7 of the 9 first-round draft picks were top 30 visits. And so far to date, and it's still early in the draft process, only 4 guys have been announced as top 3 visits for the Philadelphia Eagles. And all 4 of them are offensive linemen, tackles, well-regarded tackles in this draft process. NC State's offensive tackle, Anthony Belton, Josh Connerly Jr. from Oregon, Marcus Mbao, I think I said that right, from Purdue, and the most recent one, Jalen Travis from Iowa State, all tackles. So that tells me that typical Howie fashion, Howie Roseman is centering in that at some point early in the draft, whether it's the first round or the second round, Howie is going to address the depth on the offensive line and the eventual replacement for Lane Johnson, where I know he signed an extension through 2027. He really said he wanted to play 2 more years, which is 25 and 26. So, we've lost a lot on the offensive line this offseason. Mekhi Becton, Fred Johnson, to name a few. You still got Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson who are recovering from injuries at the end of the season. The depth is definitely in question. So the numbers and the history and the story tells me that Howie Roseman and the Eagles are 100%. They've always been a fan of drafting the offensive line, but they're really, really zoning in on tackle early in the draft this year. He also put out, Anthony DeBone, another interesting comment. Top 3 Eagles weaknesses after the first 2 weeks of free agency. He lists them in this order, Anthony DeBone. Safety as the biggest weakness. Outside of Reed Blankenship, they got Sidney Brown, Tristan McCollum, Lewis Seen, and Andrew Sam, and that is it. At linebacker behind Zach Bond, they got Nakobe Dean returning from an injury, Dallas Scantton, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and that's it. And on the defensive line, behind Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Moro Jomo. I would expect fully, I know he put it in order of safety 1, linebacker 2, defensive line 3. I am at this point very concerned about the defensive line. You lost Milton Williams, and we expected that, who had 501 snaps in 2024. 47.8% of the snaps on defense were from Milton Williams. And everybody's expecting Moro Jomo to step up. But Moro Jomo already played 388 snaps this past year, 37%. Jordan Davis played 388 snaps at 37%. Jalen Carter, 831 of them, almost 80% of the snaps. You don't want Jalen Carter playing more than 80% of the snaps. Jordan Davis has not proven he could play more than 40% of the snaps. Is Moro Jomo going to take on an 800 snap number? No. Maybe he takes on another 100, 115. But that's still another 300 plus snaps that are needed to be filled from Milton Williams on this defense. So where I started the show talking about how top priority is offensive line in Howie's eyes, I would be shocked also if one of those first 2 picks in the draft this in April 24th in about 4.5 weeks isn't a defensive tackle and offensive tackle. You're going to see attacked heavily from Howie Roseman, maybe even a trade up to make sure he gets the one at each of those positions that he wants. They obviously have over 20 picks in the next 2 years. We've talked about that plenty of times. It's just something that we can keep an eye on as these top 30 visits continue to get reported on. You're going to see a huge portion of them, the offense and defensive tackle. And honestly, with Howie Roseman's track record, I mean, out of those 9 first-round picks we talked about, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Andre Dillard, Derek Barnett, all offensive defensive linemen. That's what Howie wants. As unpredictable as Howie is, he is extremely predictable. Guys, it's Friday. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Again, make sure you check out Trending in the AM on the STT Sports Network. It would be an awesome goal of mine to hit 500 subscribers by Monday. We're at 473 on my personal channel. So please check it out. Check out the show. Click subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, guys. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Again, this is the Eagles Checkdown on the Eagles Pinpool Podcast Network. Go Birds! And bubbles up.
Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
Lowe's knows what makes SpringFest savings even better are member-only doorbuster deals. Right now, rewards members can save $40 on an Allen & Roth Chesler Gold faucet. Was $99, now $59. Plus, save $110 on a Cobalt 40-volt battery trimmer and blower combo kit. Was $279, now $169. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/24 while supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
This episode is brought to you by Hyundai. Think you know what an electric vehicle should be? Think again. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N, Hyundai is redefining what EVs should be. Learn more about Hyundai EVs at HyundaiUSA.com. EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary.
Support comes from ServiceNow. We're for people doing the creative work they actually want to do. That's why this ad was written and read by a real person and not AI. You know what people don't want to do? Boring, busy work. Now with AI agents built into the ServiceNow platform, you can automate millions of repetitive tasks in every corner of your business, IT, HR, and more, so your people can focus on the work that they want to do. That's putting AI agents to work for people. It's your turn. Visit ServiceNow.com.